not even mean Bowers game for?
Ahoy there, YouTube.
We are back again today for a news segment called Bauer Family Thinks, where me and my family sit down, play a game, and discuss said game. And today's a special Kickstarter version of the game, because we're going to be talking about #1 on the hotness on Board Game Geek, which, awesome, congrats, Dominic. That is 10 Sons from Medieval Lords. This is for 2 to 4 players, taking about 30 to 45 minutes to play, and it's for ages 10 plus. How old are you, Sean?
7.
So we're going to be taking a look at this from the family point of view, but I'm also going to be talking about it on a game night point of view as well. So in 10 Sons, this is a really interesting auction game in which you are going to have cards out there that you're going to be bidding on. You're also going to be bidding on palace pieces because you're going to be, there's lots of different balls that you're going to be keeping up in the air on this. You're going to be manipulating your palace. You're going to have lots of different cards. They're going to do lots of different special abilities. You have a sun track that you're going to be keeping track of, and a moon track that you're going to keep track of, and this yin-yang track that you're going to be keeping track of, and a prestige points track that you're going to be keeping track of. And you're going to have tons of different special abilities that are all on this player reference card, which this is a prototype version of the game, so obviously this will be fixed in post once they get it to regular. But we're going to be talking about it just from a family perspective right now. So, starting off, what did you think about the game? What did you think about it, Sean?
I liked it.
So, what did you like about the game? What was interesting about this game to you? And take this for what it is. Sean has played quite a few hobby games. He's played Dominion. He's played Pandemic. He's played quite a few games that you would say would be maybe Gateway/Gateway Plus. So that's where he is on the board game scale. But what did you like about this game? What was some of the things that you thought, ooh, that's really neat and clever?
I liked all the special abilities.
So let's start there. We'll go one by one. And I agree wholeheartedly. The special abilities, I will be honest with you, at first I thought were going to be very, very confusing because there are lots and lots and lots and lots of different special abilities, and they all are just iconography. But luckily, they got a bomb player reference card. Now, this is one thing that you're going to need to note. If you're looking at this from a family weight perspective, Sean, you never really used this, did you? But do you think, I want you to read a couple of those while I keep talking and see if you could figure out how to use them. The player reference cards list each and every single card and what they do very clearly, which is nice. And I did like that an awful lot. Did you understand those from reading those?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could understand those at the age of 7, which is great. Also, this player reference cards, I want to give it a huge shout out because it has every single aspect of playing the round. 1, 2, 3, 14 different steps, and they're all really easy to understand. They're right over there. But yes, lots of different special abilities, and I don't think we saw the same special ability come up more than once, did we?
Except for, what's his name? The guy who moves the track down?
Yes, because there is a... so basically the premise of the game is there's this god that's coming around and he's destroying the sun, and you don't want him to destroy the sun, or something like that.
And then Chang-Yi.
Chang-Yi. So yes, but all the different cards are going to do different things. Some will manipulate your board, some will manipulate your player's auction board, because this is a bidding game, and I believe this is your first bidding game, right? Where whoever has the most of a particular thing on their bidding board, and the bidding board is nice and clean and easy to understand, is going to win. And so there's lots of different things that are going to be manipulated with these cards. You manipulate the palace tiles, manipulate the sun track, manipulate all sorts of different stuff. Yes.
You forgot the cubes.
Cubes. Yes, this game is literally bursting with different things because
Green. Yellow.
Not those ones. I'm talking about these. Those are just to keep track of your score, buddy. The red and the blue track are very interesting because the blue track you get to keep from round to round to round to round. However, the red track, the red cubes, you're always going to be spending on the bidding. Now, that's just one thing that I want to ask you. Now, there were so many different things going on here with the different cubes, the different tracks. Was it overwhelming to you at all?
Not very many. Not very much.
Awesome. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is if you have this game right now and you're like, oh, cool, I'm interested in this game, I would highly recommend doing the setup from the rules and then going to the tutorial how to play video, because the tutorial how to play video doesn't show you how to set up. Shame. And there's always something you should have in those videos. And we tried to watch that and we're like, what? So then we read the rules and then the video made complete sense, right? It was actually very helpful. One thing that I do want to mention here is the rules that I have are different from the tutorial video, which is annoying. I'm not sure which one was supposed to be. We went with the tutorial video how to play. And I also agree with you. I enjoyed the game an awful lot as well. I thought it was 2 players, I will say, though. Do you think you'd like to play it at the higher player counts? I agree. I think this is really going to shine when you get to, say, 3 and 4 players, because there's going to be more cards out there. There's going to be more people to mess with. Because right now, you had some cards that attack me, right? And in a 2-player game, you are only attacking me. Now, that being said, I thought that made the auctioning a little bit more interesting, because I knew that if I didn't win that, you were going to be using it against me, right? Whereas in a 4-player game, if I didn't win that, maybe they use it against somebody else. So it does add a whole extra layer to the game that I enjoyed. So, aside from the card special abilities, what else did you like about the game? Did you like how many different ways there were to score points with the moon track, with this? Did you like the... I guess that would fall into the variety of cards, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I like the theme.
You like the theme, really? I did not. I didn't think it came across at all. It didn't do it for me, but hey, I'm glad it did for you. What about the artwork? I
really like the artwork.
I do not, but I see that it's incredibly well done. It's just not my cup of tea, but it is absolutely gorgeous looking artwork. Like, artwork, not a knock on this.
So good. So cool.
Look at these. Why would you show them the arrow? There's like these gorgeous, like, huge things. You're like, check out this bow. Goofy. But yeah, there's even more special. Like, there's tons of cards, different special abilities. There's the monsters. We didn't even talk about the monsters. And the monsters have its own little mini game inside of it, because if you beat the monsters, then you score the most points. But if you go after the monster, but then you don't beat the monster, which I will say the monsters weren't that interesting in a 2-player game. I think they'd be more interesting with more players because they get more powerful.
I found, monsters have red on the outside, and depending on how many players you are, there's different HP, and like if you have 2-player for this one, which is Quinlan, for 2 players there's 3 points, for 3 players there's 3 HP.
So it scales. It scales, which is good, because there are some games, and you're like, really, that's not a big deal. No, there are some games that I've played that don't scale with the players, and it's like, how did you design a game where you don't scale with the players? This is not one of them, luckily. One other thing that I want to mention is that we totally forgot to mention. So you're bidding on special abilities. Some of them are one-time use. Some of them are multi-time use. And that's another thing that I really like how these cards do. Did you like how it has the numbers on the outside? So this one is a 4-time use special ability. Then when you use it, there's 3 little dots here, then 2 little dots here, then 1 little dot here, and then the card is done for. There's some that happen immediately. There's special locations you try and get, which are just, they're not going to do anything for you now, but they're going to get you victory points at the end of the game. There's a whole aspect with the palace where you could build the palace now and get the points now and get some money to spend now, or you could wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, and then eventually get a whole boatload of blue cubes that you're going to use for auctioning. So in our game, Sean just absolutely destroyed me, right? He was manipulating my bids, he was manipulating cards, he was doing all sorts of things. I also like that there are some catch-up mechanisms in this game, which they deal with various different things. But let's wrap it up. Was there anything you didn't like about the game?
The bad rules, the different rules between them. Like,
yeah,
the different rules.
Yes, the rules in the tutorial videos being different is what he's talking about. But honestly, that's just kind of the nature of the beast when you're dealing with Kickstarter videos. You got another one? Or you got something to say?
We forgot to talk about the arrow.
Okay, the arrow we don't really need to talk about because it's just yet another one of the different special abilities that I happened to get, which meant that I was able to go first 4 straight times. But that's not always the best thing, is it? Sean, please sit down.
Okay.
Because one of the main things of this game is that if you're going first, you also then have to use your god special abilities first. And do you want to use your god special abilities first?
No.
No, because I used mine, but then Sean was able to react to what I did and then, mess me up a couple times. Mm-hmm. And by a couple times, I mean like quite a few times. Mm-hmm. Last but not least, I want to connect this game with my current game of the month, which is Team 3, which I gave an 8.5. This is a new segment where I say, would this usurp this as my game of the month? Now, normally I don't do points on Kickstarter games, scores on Kickstarter games, just because, you know, maybe there's a huge production malfunction and something screws up massively. There's a huge thing in the rules that they flop a page or miss a page or something like that. But I will say I still believe I like Team 3 better than this one, just because that can go up to 6 players, or potentially even 12 players if you have the pink and the green version of the game. But still, a game that we did have a good deal of fun with here with 10 Sons. So there you go. That is 10 Sons. I think it will go over well as a family-style game. If you have kids, I'd say 8 plus, and they know what they're doing around games. But I also think there's still enough meat here and enough interesting choices, enough different things going on that it would work as a game night game, as long as you know that it's 2 to 4 players. And there you go. That is 10 Sons from Medieval Lords. It looks like it might be your cup of tea. Be sure to check out the Kickstarter link down below. If you have, in the comments below, let me know. Do you have a question for the fine people?
Well, I do, yes. If you...
Steady your chair, buddy, okay?
Okay. If you could have one super powerful ability, what would it be?
You want to go first?
You.
One super powerful ability. You mean in this game or just in life?
Life.
Okay, so one superpower, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I would go with invulnerability. I can never die. Never, ever, ever, ever. Which is rough, because it means I'm going to watch everyone I've ever loved die, which stinks, but I will get to see what it's like in the year 10,000. I will get to live on Mars and Jupiter and whatever. I could launch myself out into space, and because I won't die, I could just float around in space for the rest of my life with a... That sounds terrible. I'd be cold. Never mind. But it's still, I want to be invulnerable. What's your superpower? Special ability?
I can, with my finger, draw anything and make it come to life. A little tap in the air.
That would be nice. You know, what would be so now, a follow-up question just for you. What's the first thing to draw on? You have to be careful, though. Like, what if you drew a Tesla down here and then the Tesla was just stuck in the basement? You could do some weird pranks on people. Like, you could go into somebody's bathroom and then, like, draw, like, a... I don't know, what would you draw in somebody's bathroom? Like a giant anchor?
You know the buckets at water parks?
Yeah? Oh, a giant... That would be terrible. That would flood their house. And that's why Sean's not invited to places. Well, what would you draw first, though? And where would you draw it?
I would draw a giant taco.
Not on the table.
No.
Unless you're going to draw me like a giant something to clean up tacos.
Well, I would put it on... I would put it on something that I would draw that would make it not dirty and draw some crazy thing from the future to make it not moldy. Okay. So people who need food can have a bite or a lot of a giant taco.
Okay.
Adios.
You want me to